Welcome to Life Happens, where Texans come to protect their legacy and prepare for the second half of life. Join your host, attorney Kim Hegwood with Hegwood Law Group, and our weekly guest as we navigate the challenges that emerge as life happens. Now here's your host, Kim Hegwood.
Good morning and welcome to Life Happens with me, Kim Hegwood, and our very special guest today is Elaine Kiehler. Good morning.
Good morning. Very nice to meet you.
And same here. So you're with Brookdale Senior Living, and so Brookdale we're a fan. It's one of some really good places. So if you have a loved one that needs a good place, that is one. Mm-hmm. But today we're going to talk about if you have a loved one that's been diagnosed with dementia, how do we keep them engaged? Because I think that's really, really important. So I appreciate you being on the show today. And so tell our listeners why keeping someone engaged is so important.
Oh, absolutely. Keeping our family members, our loved ones engaged in any type of activity is so important. They've actually found that by doing so, that you can slow the progression of the disease.
Well, that's a really good reason. And so, most definitely. And so what are some of the ways that that someone can do that? I mean, what type of things do you do to keep someone engaged?
Sure. I think sometimes families have difficulty trying to come up with, what am I going to do to keep mom or dad busy during the daytime? What can I do? And you don't really have to look too far. It's not too difficult. Really look for activities that they've always enjoyed doing in the past and maybe that they enjoy doing now. Oftentimes that just really helps to give them a sense of purpose. So if it's things, even daily activities, whether it's helping you dry dishes, setting the table, even sitting and planning for a meal, talking that through, those are really wonderful things. They're normal daily activities. I think sometimes families take away some of that independence thinking, am I going to keep mom or dad safe? It's just wonderful to be able to do that. It gives them a sense of purpose and normalcy to their life.
And so do you find that that even though they were activities that they had done in the past, that they may have difficulty doing them now? Are there certain things that may work well, for someone who has dementia, and maybe some things that don't?
If you had someone that was an avid gardener, of course, you may not want them out in your garden on their knees. However, you can bring some things in small pots for them to be able to plant some flowers is a wonderful way. It's some of the programming that we do at our community, and they love it. Or if they were into something where they loved flowers, just to be able to do some floral decorations, whether it's buying artificial flowers and putting them in vases. So it doesn't have to be as difficult, but you can kind of adapt things that they used to do into something that they can do now.
Do you find it's difficult to determine sometimes what that is? That families have a difficult time trying to make that determination of what might inspire them. I find that sometimes we have families that their parents don't seem to have any particular thing that they do. They just seem to be there, like they're not outgoing. They're just home. So are there certain activities you can recommend for someone whose parents may have not had any kind of hobbies or anything other than just taking care of the house and, may not have a lot of outside activities?
Sure. Well, again, really dwell on those things that they enjoyed doing. If it was even within the home, if they enjoyed woodworking, even just having blocks of wood to be able to sand, or working on a bird feeder or something that they can kind of work together on. But also, looking at photo albums is a wonderful way to sit and to reminisce with them also. You don't want to ask them, do you remember what's in this picture? Because that can be frustrating. You want to go from the aspect of sitting down and talking about what's in the picture and then pulling from there and seeing where they go with it. Simply talking about what the weather's like, going for walks with them outside, talking about what's around them. Those are wonderful things to do with them too.
So really keeping it kind of current, just kind of talking more so, I guess, maybe to them.
Yes.
Rather than, asking a lot of questions. do you, how do you determine that if they need more stimulation or more engagement than what you can offer?
Right. I've asked families this. When was that turning point where you thought, I don't think I can do this anymore. I'm not reaching mom or dad the way I was able to do it before. And it's really not as much in the engagement of the programming as more as to where they were seeing their loved one and where the disease was taking them. So for them, it was, they just felt like the loved one was retreating and not being wanting to be part of anything social, spending more time alone. And they know they need to be active in something, but they just couldn't help them with that. And for some of them, their loved ones didn't even recognize who they were anymore, even if you were living at home with them. So those were things that they said were, they knew it was that turning point of, I need to look for something else for mom or dad because I'm not able to reach them. Some of them tried pulling in, having maybe even a sitter or someone to be able to come in, but that wasn't successful also. So that's when they thought, this is time to look for something different.
So what can a memory care community such as Brookdale offer loved ones that may make a difference in, than what they were getting at home versus what they can get at a facility like yours?
I tell you what, safety, that independence again that they'd lost. A person with dementia loses so much, and at the beginning they see that themselves, which is very frustrating. But being able to regain some of that independence again in a safe environment, being with others, and socialization is so important, and they are around others where they can feel dignified and be a part and see others that share the same interests as they have. Brookdale has this wonderful thing that we do. It's a life story. When our residents come in for the very first time, we sit with the families and we do this life story, and it paints a beautiful picture of things that they've done in the past, things that they may be doing now, things that they like, things that they don't care to do. But we build our programs on that. It's very person-centered. And when we have that in place, we're able to put our programs together. Wonderful socialization, wonderful music programs. They are still going out on outings. And just being around with others. And all of those things really do help. We've seen a lot of our residents that families thought, I don't think you're going to get anywhere, seen them blossom in the right place.
I think it's important for families to know that, it doesn't hurt to try options because they may be surprised, at how, I've seen firsthand, in my family, having someone, that went from home to assisted living and just blossomed, just having, someone to, her response was, I don't have to cook, I don't have to clean, they do my laundry, I just have to go down and get whatever I want to eat. And other ladies were there to hang out with, and they played, cards and dominoes and games, and they went on outings, and she really did very well, and really improved a lot, which, and her response was, we should have done this a long time ago. And so rather than just sit at home and just sit down and watch TV all day long and not do anything, which is so bad for you,
Yes.
caused a lot of health issues with her that, some of them were able to, to get past after getting her up, moving around. But still, the quality of life could have been better had they made that move, sooner. And so,
Absolutely.
and I think a lot of people, and you may find this when people are visiting, a lot of people are scared to move. Because it's a change, and so, so I think it's really important for people to come visit, meet people, and see what kind of things they do, and know they can try it, and see, how it works. And so, so what kind of things do you tell someone, a family member, that are, if they're unsure, is there, because transition, I know, is hard, not so, for the person who has the memory issues, but also for the family. Is there some advice that you can give them that may make this, the moves a little easier?
When families come to me and they go, I'm not sure if this is the right move, or I think mom's just doing fine, but you can tell by the family member that they are stressed. And I always tell them, come check out the community and feel and get that sense of what's going on in there. And for the loved one, always paint a positive picture of you're going to love it. You're going to have your own apartment. You've been wanting that independence. You're going to love the view. Everything is, you have access to so many different programs that you're going to enjoy. I always try to go with that approach. And I tell families, you never know how it's going to go. For some people, once they step in past those doors, their loved ones, they just blossom as soon as they get in, because they're actually in a comfortable setting where they feel loved, welcomed, and at home. And that's our whole, my community. I want my loved ones or the families to know that this is the home setting, not just for the residents, but also for the families. I want them to feel at home too. And I never want them to feel alone in the journey, that we're here to walk it with them as well.
So you've been doing this a while, and
Yes.
And so there's always challenges that occur, when your loved one has to move, and so I appreciate your insight, in regards to helping families transition from maybe at home to memory care, or maybe from other parts of your facility to memory care, and so definitely. If clients want to, family members want to find you to get some more information, how do they go about doing that?
Please reach out. I think there's a website right that's just up there that you can reach out to our Brookdale community, Solana Vintage Park. Be happy to reach out and talk to them also, even if you're in that where you have your loved ones at home, but you're still wondering, what can I do with mom or dad at home? I'd be happy to help with that as well.
Okay, and that is brookdale.com for the website, correct?
Yes.
And telephone number is the 281-205-5956.
Is my direct line, or you can reach out to the main line at 281-320-9000.
Perfect. And so, and I'm sure that you'll be looking forward to visiting new families anytime.
Would love to.
All right. Thanks, Elaine. We appreciate you being on the show today, and you have enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Life Happens with Kim Hegwood. Be sure to tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. wherever you listen to your podcast as we navigate through the challenges that emerge as life happens. The content of this podcast does not establish an attorney-client relationship or constitute attorney-client privilege, legal, medical, financial, or any other professional advice.